Clint Eastwood just brutally slammed woke Hollywood and they're furious. Clint Eastwood, one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history, was born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. Over the course of his illustrious career, which has spanned more than 6 decades, Eastwood has not only proven himself as a prolific actor but also an accomplished director, producer, and cultural icon. His rugged demeanor, sharp charisma, and stoic screen presence have made him a symbol of American masculinity and independence. While his initial claim to fame came through his portrayal of tough, no-nonsense characters in westerns and action films, Eastwood's career has evolved into one of the most versatile in cinematic history. Eastwood grew up during the Great Depression, and his early life was marked by frequent moves due to his father's work as a steelworker. This transient lifestyle led him to develop a sense of resilience, self-reliance, and toughness, traits that would later define his on-screen persona. After finishing high school, Eastwood took on various jobs, including working as a lumberjack, truck driver, and even a lifeguard, before being drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War. His time in the military was relatively uneventful, but it gave him the discipline and determination that would fuel his drive in Hollywood. Clint Eastwood's acting breakthrough came in the 1950s with small roles in B-movies, but it wasn't until he landed the role of Rowdy Yates in the TV series Rawhide that he began to gain recognition. The success of Rawhide provided him with a steady platform to develop his acting chops, and it wasn't long before his big break in cinema came with Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy. Eastwood's portrayal of the man with no name in films such as A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, cemented his status as a Western legend. The Italian-made spaghetti westerns were groundbreaking for their stark depiction of the American West, and Eastwood's stoic, gritty performance perfectly complemented the film's style, making him an international star. His role in these films established Eastwood as a tough, laconic anti-hero, a persona that he carried into other films throughout the 1970s, such as Dirty Harry, 1971. The character of Dirty Harry Callahan, a morally ambiguous police officer willing to break the rules to bring criminals to justice, became another defining role. With his memorable catchphrase, "Go ahead, make my day," Eastwood became synonymous with a new breed of action hero. One who was tough, unrelenting, and willing to operate outside of societal norms. The film was a huge success and spawned 4 sequels, further cementing Eastwood's legacy in the action genre. Dirty Harry also sparked debates about law enforcement and justice, with some critics praising the film's hard-hitting realism, while others criticized it for glorifying vigilantism. However, Clint Eastwood was never content to be typecast, and he soon began to demonstrate his range both in front of and behind the camera. In 1971, Eastwood made his directorial debut with Play Misty for Me, a psychological thriller that showcased his ability to handle complex, tense narratives. This marked the beginning of a long and successful directing career. Over the decades, Eastwood directed and starred in numerous critically acclaimed films, showing his skill in various genres including drama, romance, war films, and even musicals. Some of his most acclaimed directorial works include Unforgiven, 1992, Mystic River, 2003, $1 Million Baby, 2004, and Gran Torino, 2008. Unforgiven is often hailed as one of the greatest westerns ever made, and it was particularly poignant because it offered a mature, reflective take on the genre that had made Eastwood famous. The film, in which Eastwood both starred and directed, earned him Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture, as well as a nomination for Best Actor. Unforgiven subverted the classic Western narrative by focusing on the consequences of violence and the moral complexities of revenge, themes that resonated with critics and audiences alike. Eastwood's portrayal of William Money, an aging, reformed gunslinger drawn back into his old ways, showcased his nuanced acting abilities and willingness to deconstruct the myth of the Western hero. Eastwood's success as a director extended beyond westerns. His films like $1 Million Baby and Mystic River explored themes of loss, redemption, and the human condition, often earning widespread critical praise. $1 Million Baby, in which Eastwood played a grizzled boxing coach mentoring a young female fighter, played by Hilary Swank, won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Eastwood. His directing style, marked by its simplicity and emotional depth, demonstrated that he was more than just an action star. He was a thoughtful, introspective artist who could tackle complex themes with grace and subtlety. Beyond his work in film, Clint Eastwood has also had an impact on American culture through his political involvement and personal philosophy. A libertarian-leaning figure, Eastwood has always championed individualism, self-reliance, and personal freedom, values often reflected in his film characters. He served as the mayor of Carmel by the Sea, California, from 1986 to 1988, a small coastal town where he promoted environmental preservation and smart urban development. Although Eastwood has stayed mostly away from partisan politics, his speeches and interviews over the years have sparked discussion and debate, with many admiring his candidness and straightforward approach to controversial topics. In addition to his professional accomplishments, Clint Eastwood's personal life has been a subject of public interest. He has had multiple marriages and relationships, and is the father of several children, many of whom have followed in his footsteps and pursued careers in acting and film production. Despite the ups and downs in his personal life, Eastwood has remained a dedicated figure in the entertainment industry, continuing to work well into his 90s. His longevity and work ethic are nothing short of remarkable, as he continues to direct films that garner attention and acclaim, proving that age is no barrier to creativity. Clint Eastwood, the legendary actor, director, and producer, has long been known for his strong opinions and unapologetic approach to both filmmaking and societal issues. Recently, Eastwood took a public stance against what he perceives as the growing influence of woke culture in Hollywood, sparking a heated reaction from many in the industry. His comments, described by some as a brutal slam on woke Hollywood, have resonated with his supporters but left others fuming. Eastwood's criticism focuses on what he sees as an overly politically correct environment that stifles creativity, freedom of expression, and the pursuit of complex storytelling. He believes that the current cultural climate in Hollywood often prioritizes social justice messaging over artistic merit and entertainment value. According to Eastwood, this trend has led to the production of films and TV shows that are more concerned with ticking off ideological boxes than engaging audiences with meaningful narratives. His disdain for this shift isn't new. Eastwood has long been vocal about his belief that Hollywood should avoid pandering to political movements and instead focus on crafting high-quality art that speaks to universal human experiences, not just political agendas. In slamming the woke movement in Hollywood, Eastwood also pointed out that the industry has become increasingly intolerant of differing viewpoints. He argued that anyone who dares to deviate from the prevailing progressive ideology risks being ostracized or cancelled. For someone like Eastwood, who built his career on playing characters that challenged societal norms and expectations, this culture of conformity is particularly troubling. He sees it as antithetical to the spirit of artistic freedom that has historically defined Hollywood's best work. Eastwood's comments quickly drew backlash from many in the entertainment world. Critics accused him of being out of touch with modern sensibilities and dismissive of efforts to bring greater diversity and representation to the screen. To them, Eastwood's remarks come across as an attempt to cling to outdated values at the expense of progress. Social media lit up with responses, many condemning his words as insensitive or reactionary, while others defended his right to speak his mind. The divide between Eastwood's supporters and detractors reflects a broader cultural war within Hollywood and beyond. On one side are those who believe that the industry has a responsibility to use its platform to address social issues and reflect changing attitudes toward race, gender, and identity. On the other side are those like Eastwood, who feel that this focus has come at the cost of artistic integrity and creative diversity. His critique taps into a growing frustration among some filmmakers, actors, and viewers who feel alienated by what they see as Hollywood's increasing politicization. Eastwood has never been one to shy away from controversy, and this latest episode is no different. At 94 years old, he remains as outspoken as ever, embodying the rugged individualism that has defined much of his career, both on and off the screen. Whether his latest comments will have a lasting impact on Hollywood remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: Clint Eastwood isn't backing down from the fight. His views may not align with the dominant narratives of today, but they continue to spark conversation and challenge the status quo, something he's been doing for decades. For Eastwood, the backlash seems unlikely to deter him. He has built a career on taking risks and standing firm in his beliefs, even when they weren't popular. This latest brutal slam on woke Hollywood is just another chapter in a long career of defying the conventional wisdom of the day, proving that Eastwood, even in his later years, remains a cultural force to be reckoned with. Whether or not Hollywood will listen to his critique is another question, but it's clear that Clint Eastwood has no intention of fading quietly into the background.